10 seconds early because we don't want to be late, do we?
No. No. You know that saying, to be early is on time, to be on time is late, and to be late
right.
is, I don't know. Fuck.
Right. That's how it is, man. You know? So, anyway, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, all the people. Nice to be here.
All the people.
So,
good afternoon, says Nick.
Good afternoon.
Nick must be on the East Coast. Oh yeah, Nick is in Jersey, I think.
He's in Jersey. Hello, Nick. Hello, Spin. Hello, all.
Spin.
So we got to do full disclosure right off the top. Both Bobby and I have had pretty rough days, man. So there's a very big possibility we may end a little earlier tonight. So just to give you guys a heads up.
Quick chat.
Yeah, we're going to have a little fireside chat. And do we still want to talk synths, by the way? Or just talk?
I mean, we can talk about synths. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, doesn't really matter.
We can also talk about, continue the talking about music theory. The other thing we can, you know, I don't know if tonight's the best night to do it, but one of the things going forward that we're going to start doing on the stream, Bobby and I talked about it, is we want to develop kind of like some content for our webpage. And so we're going to start maybe, you know, just having little one-off 10-minute interviews, or tell me about how you made the butt bounce sound in Pac-Man World 2, or whatever, you know. How do you approach
just how important things like the butt bounce are, you know?
Right. Sure. So yeah, but tonight I think he and I are both brain fried, so maybe we don't attempt anything. Or Bobby's just starting his day. I'm ending it. So that's the good news, is that, you know, he's starting the day, I'm ending it. It's 10 o'clock for you?
Yeah.
10 o'clock. So he's out in La La Land, and I'm in Pasta
Both
Land.
Mentally and physically.
Both mentally and physically, yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
There it is.
Not around.
I'm in Pasta Land, and
it's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be. Italy's amazing, man. I gotta say.
Who doesn't like pasta?
Yeah. Well,
pasta and pizza, man.
Exactly. And like, if you think about pasta with ragu, you know, which a ragu is, by the way, a thick beef and pork tomato sauce. You know, spaghetti and tomato sauce, but thick with meat in it. You know.
Right.
I mean, if you think about pasta with a nice sauce like that and some cheese on top. And then, like, it's like they've perfected the whole bread, sauce, cheese combo, right? Like carb with a cheese, and you know, like pizza and pasta. Like, what the hell? This is like, you know,
all the time we make pizza, and I just tell my wife, like, this is the greatest thing ever.
You guys make pizza, yeah?
Oh yeah,
and she makes her own dough, yeah.
She makes her own dough.
Okay,
we have the pizza oven.
Sorry, I am being a little bit sexist, because I said she only, you know, like, you couldn't make your own dough.
Listen, she makes the pie, and I'm the one who bakes them.
You're okay. Well, that's a good division of labor, which is important in a relationship, you know. Okay, well,
she's the baker and you know, chef and all that stuff. She's amazing at all that.
This is where I'm going with this, man. Like, eventually, you and your wife have to make your way out here. Like, it's all there is to it, right?
Right.
And the new place I'm going to be moving to, hopefully in the next 5 months, has a brick pizza oven. So you can do legit wood oven. You guys can make, and it'll be a whole new baking experience for you. And you'll have to accept a little bit of input from Valentina and I, because hopefully by then we'll have perfected the pizza oven.
Right.
She said, "Oh, no way. I don't want to use it. I'm never going to make a pizza there." And I'm like, what? She makes great pizza, by the way. So I was like, all right, well then I'll learn, you know, you make the pizza. I'll learn how to cook it in the wood oven. Look, everything about cooking with wood and fire. It's
not that hard. I mean, you know,
it's all
you just got to rotate it. That's it.
The secret.
And make sure that
Yeah, it's literally temperature, the size of your flame versus the ambers. And so these are the three things you're always managing when cooking with wood. And I know this because I'm very, very experienced, because I used to go camping like all the time. And, you know, you cook everything. And so like I'd marinate, you know, like, you know, 2 days before. I think 2 days is perfect for marination. And so I'd marinate my chicken and my beef, and, you know, and I would do like Thai peanut sauce with coconut milk. And oh man, you don't know how amazing satay tastes on real wood fire. Oh my goodness, so delicious. And we'd eat like 100 of those in like an hour. Anyway, I'm exaggerating, but and yeah, and in Canada, like, you know, Valentina once asked me, like, what is your national dish, you know, in Canada? And I said, well, we don't really have one, but if there was one, it would be barbecue, because it doesn't matter. If it can be minus 30 outside, like, you're still going out there with your steaks. You're still going to fire up you might not do like a wood fire, but, you know, you'll turn on, if you have like even a little hibachi, which is like, you know, the little stand, and you'll go out, you'll do it, man. If you really want the barbecue, you'll do it. So, so we're very good with barbecue, in fact.
Are you going to buy a smoker?
No, because that's, you know what, that's just like opening up a can of worms that I'm not sure I want to open.
I'm telling you, man.
I know, but I'm just like, I'm a barbecue guy. Look, can I tell you why I'm not going to do the smoker? Just let me explain from the Canadian perspective. Sure. Okay. So here's why. And now for a live stream that is completely different. Hi, Jasmine. Hello, dear Jasmine. Jasmine. Okay, here we go. The reason no smoker in Canada, right? When you go into the, what the hell is it called? Ralph's Market? You guys? Right. Okay. Sure. Ralph's, so anyway, any big, whatever your big grocery chain is, right? If you go into your local grocery store, that's, you know, like a supermarket, let's say, you know, you can buy any kind of barbecue sauce you want, right? Like, you know, hickory smoke flavor, and, you know, classic buffalo, and the wood chips. That's where I was going with this. So you can literally pick up, like, I want maple chips, or I want hickory chips, poplar or oak, or whatever chips you want. You can, there's usually like at least 4 or 5 different varieties. And that's why I don't do the smoker, because what I do, again, like I always, it's always that ratio of flames to ambers. And then the more important thing, the smoke, like, how do you smoke your, right? So what I like to do is barbecue and then get a nice smoky texture. And so very often what I might do, if I have a perfect like fire on one side, I'll smother the other side with my wood chips, right? And then get a nice smoke, that, because the wind is, you know, sort of exchanging, right? So you can sort of go half and half, and eventually the wood chips will burn anyway. So, so
there's nothing like that 1/4-inch smoke ring, though. You know,
I know.
You get
I know it's a thing, Bobby. I'm not discrediting that, but it's like, at 56, am I going to change the way I barbecue? It's like, no, you know. You know what I will do? I will do this. I will see what possibilities there are to turn a brick pizza oven into a smoker, because we have the pizza oven, right, which has a chimney. There's a chimney to it, right? And so, but we also have a separate barbecue, which is like a big open grill, and they're kind of connected to each other, right? So, so I will absolutely.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, I will entertain that possibility, because I don't think, the problem with the smoker is that you have to, like, there has to be like proper chambers, right, for the smoke to travel. And so, and if you don't have, from what I understand, you know, but I promise, Bobby, I will look into it. And by the time you arrive in Italy, I'll be an expert at something.
Sure.
Anyway, so listen, I want to do something, because our really good friend of the channel, JT Ska, has made a piece of music.
That's right.
And I would like, are you there, JT? Because I'm going to share your music with the world right now. No, I mean, is he like right there? Because I know he's there, but is he still right there? So JT Ska, I know you didn't want me to listen to it before the stream, but I did. But nobody else has heard it but me. And what did he do? If you guys remember our big conversation about what is a beat? If you guys remember that, I think it was three weeks ago. And thank you, Jasmine. Anyway, so JT, I'll hold off here if you're not there. I think he might not be in front of the keyboard. So, okay, well, regardless, let's do the world premiere of this track, and then we're going to timestamp. Where are we? 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Exactly 15. Oh no. Well, 10 actually, because not count.
He says
well,
1 minute.
If you're on the actual Twitch, it's 15 minutes. Yeah. So
JT says give him 1 minute.
1 minute. We can do that, JT. We're going to give him 1 minute.
We can.
I will explain to you guys what we got here. Or maybe
not.
Maybe not. Maybe we just play it.
Right.
We just play it and then, well, anyway, you're gonna know in 2 seconds anyway. He has made a sort of rock steady ska version of Pac-Man World 2.
Wow.
And so he made a beat. Let me know when you're ready, JT. And he made a beat, and I'm gonna play it for everybody tonight. So
great.
Are you there? JT, can we proceed? And it got me thinking about, okay, let's go. We're doing this. Excellent. All right, guys. So here we go. This is a beat regarding Pac-Man World 2 from our very good friend of the channel, Mr. JT Ska.
JT Ska.
Here we go.
It's Friday. Take off your shoes and dance. Here we go. And Pac-Man World 2.
That's A plus, JT. A plus.
A podcast for you.
It's a beat. It's a beat. It's a beat. It's a beat.
That's great.
And only JT and I know what is meant by that. Fantastic. He sampled the conversation.
Yeah.
And he uses the pack pipes. He uses the pack pipes.
That's fantastic.
Oh, the Dominant 7 Add 9. Beautiful. JT, you've outdone yourself, sir. We salute you. We salute you. Let's, oh wait, I got to switch cameras just to do this. Big orb love coming right at you. Pack orb love right there. I don't want to do too many because, you know, we might get banned or something like for spamming the channel, even though it's our channel. All right. But nonetheless, thank you. That was very, very wonderful and unexpected and great.
Very cool.
Only
Very cool.
JT and I understand what is a beat. He sampled that line. Fantastic. Oh, man. Great job.
Yeah.
Bravo. So there it is, guys. The world premiere of the awesome JT Ska. I love where this stream is going. Hey, well, you know, we're happy. So yeah,
Right.
but you know what, guys? I mean, this is sort of the whole point of building a community, like what we're doing, right? Is that,
Yeah.
you know, right? It can inspire people to do stuff, to make music, and you know, if you're not on the Discord channel, you should definitely stop by. You know, because you can be a part of that ongoing conversation that I, you know, at least once a week I check in with everybody on the server and I see how everyone's doing, and you know, we just chit chat a little bit, you know. So thank you, JT. That is really amazing what you did. Truly wonderful.
Really.
And
Yeah.
really, really lovely. And but it got me thinking about, all right, if Logan did a ska version of Pac-Man World 2, what would that sound like? And the reason, you see, and by the way, this is the whole point of having a creative community of people like us, because one can inspire. So in business, there's this concept called productive tension, what is productive tension? Productive tension is basically when a boss will take two people in the same position and will say to them both, well, whoever has the most sales at the end of the month will get the promotion. Well, what that does is it creates tension amongst the workers, but they each work unbelievably hard to outdo each other. And guess what? This also exists in the world of the arts. So when I was at this company in LA, and I was the other composer on the team was Bill Brown, right? This is how I got to know Bill Brown in the first place, right? And so we were both bidding on Activision's Pitfall 3D. And we both knew that we were bidding against each other. And they were going to submit both of our demos to Activision and let Activision choose. Well, oh man. We all know how that story turned out, don't we?
We do.
I buried him because why? I'm a drummer, right? Like you can't touch my rhythm or my sense of rhythm, right? So it's not that I'm a better composer or a better person or better anything than Bill. Maybe a better
Was that
drummer.
in the brief?
Huh?
Was that in the brief? Did they say like
no? I went on Instagram. There was no brief really. There was no brief. It was mostly like we're curious to see, what you guys would do with it. We've already there was something like already 5 other people who bid, and they said we're not happy with anything.
Right.
We're just curious to know. And then they said Logan just nailed it. It's perfect. And that became the basis of everything I did for that game. And they loved it. So yeah, it's not that I'm better. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. It's not that one person is better than another, or that I'm smarter, or that I'm more talented than Bill, because I'm certainly not. Bill is a monster talent. He's amazing. It's just that I'm a drummer. I actually studied Ghanaian High Life, which is like a music festival in Ghana. And, my friend who is from Ghana taught me these legit rhythms. I studied, with Ed Uribe at Berkeley, legit Afro-Cuban and Brazilian drumming. And so I had all these world drumming things that I understood really, really well and studied and could play legit. Need I say more? Dal bongos, right? Dal bongos, right. Dal samba, right? Okay. Point taken. Anyway, but productive tension is a thing. And so JT Ska has now done productive tension with me without realizing it. He made a David Logan music channel theme song for me. Again, he's a great friend of the channel. He's an awesome guy, wonderful soul, and just a super talent. He's so, and what a voice, like creamy, buttery, smooth voice. Yeah. So, and you know what? I was thinking as we were listening, the thing that I love the most about him as a person and about his music. Wait, I got to switch cameras to do this because it doesn't work any other way. He's 100. It's all authentic. It's real.
Right.
He's not trying to be. He's not pretending to be. He and I both grew up with Jamaican ska and second wave British ska. We grew up with that, So it's in our blood. It's in our bones. It's in our DNA. Is that right? Have I got that right, JT? I think I got it right. Anyway, so he created productive tension with me because I had already started a David Logan music theme song, but then I kind of sat on it. I didn't really do anything with it. And, and then he made this amazing David Logan, right? It was amazing.
Right. That was great. The Friday
But it created productive tension because I'm like, well, how can I let this stand? Somebody else writing the theme song for my channel? Like I had been planning that all along, but I also didn't want to I handled it authentically, right? I used that theme song for a very long time on the channel, but it was always my intention to eventually replace it with my own, which I eventually did. And it was a worthy contender. Mine is pretty good. It's a pretty good track too. So he's doing it again because now he's got me having the conversation in my head. How would I do Pac-Man World 2 as British second wave ska, like the Specials or the Beat, right? or the Selector, which you played with the Selector, didn't you, at some point? Or you had something to do with the Selector, who's an incredible Rhoda Dakar. No, not Rhoda Dakar. What the hell is her name? I think Rhoda Dakar was the Selectors, or the Body Snatchers. Forgot the name. Rhonda something, is it? Oh gosh, now I got to Google this because it's bothering me. Pauline Black. Yeah. Rhoda Dakar was the Body Snatchers, I think. Pauline Black, yeah. Anyway, so now there's a new productive tension. And you know why am I thinking this? It all goes back to, remember when we were talking about the repack music?
Right.
And you know, the question was, well, how would you, David Logan, repack your own music? Well, JT Ska has got me thinking now. And now I'm thinking, yeah, what would it sound like? A nice two-tone specials, you know, Horace Panter bass line, you know, Everett Morton maybe on drums. I would like make up my own like ultimate ska band, which would be Horace Panter on bass. It would be Everett Morton on drums. It would definitely be Andy Cox on rhythm guitar. Rico Brown or Rico Rodriguez, I believe, the trombone player who played on Ghost Town, I believe. Yeah. So he would be leading my horn section. And Rico, I forgot his name. It doesn't really matter anyway.
Is that your dream band then?
My dream ska band. Yeah.
Your dream ska band.
Yeah.
Okay. Would that be your dream band?
Like if I could have any band, play
Let's
my
say
songs?
You can, yeah. Would that, would you?
No, definitely not.
Is that good enough for no? Okay.
No. If I could like invent my own band and have any player from any time in history, like even dead ones.
Right. You have a time machine and you're
and
very
I can
happy
just assemble it all.
Kidnapping people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I honestly, it's very difficult to answer that question, but
how many people would you be happy with? Like, what's the minimum number you'd be like, okay, if I have 4 people, I can make it work, or 5 or 6. I need these instruments.
Like, believe it or not, everybody is going to hate what I'm about to say, and I really don't give a fuck because you're all wrong. As drummer, because you'll be shocked.
That's a way to start.
You're gonna you're gonna think like, oh, he's gonna John Bonham for sure, Neil Peart. No, Ringo Starr, the Beatles drummer.
Okay.
He was the most musical drummer. Understated. He did his job. He kept rhythm, and he made some of the most iconic. Think about In My Life, Scott, like those nice little tasty hi-hat things he was doing. Ticket to Ride. Doom, taka, doom, ba, bo, boom, taka, to, ba, pow, boom. What an unbelievable rhythm. I mean, that's one of the coolest beats ever. Come Together. What do you want, man? The guy's a genius. And he is the most criminally underrated drummer in the history of playing the instrument. Because he did his job. He understood his job. He did his job well. He hated being flashy. He hated soloing. He didn't want to solo. Just wasn't his thing.
What do you think of drum solos? That's one of the questions I wanted to ask you in our drum time.
Right. We didn't. Yeah, sure. So, I mean, look, I have a great history of making crazy drum solos in my day. It was sort of like every single rock band, there was always that Moby Dick, right? Those who don't know what I'm talking about, Led Zeppelin song Moby Dick. Right? And then it has this monster drum solo. And then, of course, Kiss copied the idea. Every rock band copied this idea of like the big, iconic, you know, and Rush was doing, everybody was doing this big drum solo thing. Look, rock and roll music, whether you like this or not, this is not look, we're not going to discredit, bands like Heart, Nancy Wilson, and, who were women who fucking rocked. Joan Jett rocked. Blondie fucking rocked. Well, Deborah Harry in particular. Like, we have so many iconic people. And Rush has a female drummer now. They're going back on tour. They have this German monster player. And,
Okay.
so I'm not saying women cannot rock, but let's face it, rock and roll has been mainly dominated by men. Okay. The music industry,
Yeah.
everything. So,
Well, everything has been mainly dominated
and
by
unfairly, unfairly.
Mostly, yeah.
But the point is that rock is very egotistical. I think it was it Brian Eno or David Bowie was talking about it, that nobody makes pop music because they want to be an artist. People make pop music because they want to get the girls and get rich and drive flashy cars. Artists, and he's referring to himself, it was Bowie referring to himself, or David Byrne, Talking Heads, they're not in it for the money and they're not in it for the girls. Right?
Is that true for the drummers too?
Okay, well, let's
the
go
drummers
there.
Aren't exactly getting the girls, right? I saw a meme I've been meaning to share with you. It's like what I thought life would be as a drummer, and it was like girls and partying and this and that, and then my actual life was just like all like 16th and 8th notes practice.
Well, one of my favorite memes of all time is what everybody thinks. And they show a picture of a shakers. People think it's a bongo. They show a picture of a djembe. People think it's a bongo. They show pictures of congas. Everybody calls it a bongo. And then they show like a cowbell, and everybody thinks, finally that's a bongo, right? Or I think I did the joke wrong, but anyway, whatever. Everybody calls every percussion instrument a bongo.
Right.
And then, when you see the bongos finally at the end, everybody calls it a cowbell or something, Another favorite drummer meme was, showing the old 1950s sexist kind of cartoon, the mother stirring the pot and, the bubble of her saying to the son, "What do you want to be when you grow up, honey?" And the son replies, "I want to be a drummer." And then in the next part, it says, "Well, you have to pick one, dear." In other words, you either choose to grow up or be a drummer. I love it. So look, I can guarantee you when Ringo Starr joined the Beatles and started making music, he wasn't doing it to get rich or to get girls, because he is like an artist, legit artist drummer, for sure. I think John Bonham is similar, like he's a legit artist drummer.
Right.
Tommy Lee, only in it for the chicks and the drugs and the rock and roll. Motley Crue, right? What, you're going to tell me he's in it for the artistry?
Right.
No. Buddy Rich, these are jazz drummers now. But like in terms of pop music, there are exceptions, right? Because I think Blondie, all of them, well, not every member, but Chris Stein and Debbie Harry, the heart of the band, right. They're legit bona fide artists, because the artists use everything, right? So when rap became popular, right, they created Rapture, that song, right? And Deborah Harry was the first white rapper and first female rapper ever, right? So, the Avengers of David Logan. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to catch up on the chat in one moment. But as far as that goes, like, well, we still didn't answer the other question, but I guess as far as drummers go, like real artistic drummers. Well, there was this Canadian artist, her name was Jane Siberry, I believe, and she hated cymbals. She hated the idea of and so she didn't let her drummer use cymbals. So no hi-hats, no cymbals. just tom-toms, kick drum, snare. So her as an artist, like that's an awesome request, you know?
Right.
I think Chad Smith, Red Hot Chili Peckers. Oh, we got to clip that one. That's got to be clipped. The Red Hot Chili Peckers. It's actually a better name, I think. Isn't that a better name? The Red Hot Chili Peckers. Anyway, I think I think it's a great name. We got to copyright that or trademark it. I think he's a legit artist. I think all of them are legit artists.
Yes.
Real artists, bona fide artistic band. Absolutely.
For sure.
So I think, and you know what, right? Like we always talk about it on the channel, right? I think we understand authentically, you know, which bands are real artists and which ones are just in it for the money. Let's catch up a little bit on the stream here on the chat. Okay, won't be able to stick around. No problem, FP. Thank you for coming. Neil Davies was the writer. Okay, didn't know that. By the way, you like the facial? Oh, okay. Bobby and I have a little bit of growth. Okay, glad you like it. Rodriguez. Okay, so I was right with the Rodriguez. Okay, that's good. The Avengers of David Logan. What was that in reference to, Nick? I didn't get
Going back in time and picking your dream team.
Oh, right. Which I didn't fully answer. Okay, you know, it's true. I've been constantly thinking about how you describe pop music as AI. It's AI music, but human-made, safe, marketable, not risky. Most generic lyrics about love and romance. Okay. Used AI in the vocals too. Yeah, look, there is nothing wrong with using AI to make music. It's just that the problem only comes when you are using it as a complete creative solution. Like it's coming up with the chords and your melodies, and like that's just, you're just kind of a douche at that point, you know? Sorry, but it's true. Yeah, so
I think of people who use like samples like that also. That if you only use samples and you don't, you know, you take a drum beat, you take a bass line and you take something and you just put that out there, you got to put some effort into it.
I have two words, Paul's Boutique. Do you know it?
Paul's Boutique. No.
So this is considered the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band of hip hop. Okay. It's considered.
I'm not talking about hip hop. I'm talking about, so hip hop has a special place that is just reserved for
okay, because I'm
talking about like pop songs.
Okay, that's something else. Yes, I can agree with that. I guess what I'm saying is that Paul's Boutique was the first album ever which was 100% all samples. There was not a single nothing, you know. But then, you know, they came out with Sabotage. Like, look, we can play our own instruments. Thank you very much. Shut the hell up, you know, with your criticisms. Yeah, so you know, but yes, I agree, you know. But then what about, how does that then play into derivative works, you know, or remakes, right? Like Roberta Flack, right? Killing Me Softly, right? The Fugees did a cover and they just crushed it, and they brought the song back to life, and then Roberta Flack got famous again. And, you know, I think, look.
Okay, I take it back. Fuck it. Just use your samples and make good music.
There you go. Just do something great. But you see, when the Fugees remade Killing Me Softly,
right?
Like that was considered like a hip hop masterpiece, no? And everyone thought the Fugees wrote it, which is what a good cover song should do. Right?
Right.
How many times
you really make it your own?
How many times have people said, "Oh, I didn't know that was a cover. That's a cover?"
Right.
I thought they wrote it. It's like, no. The Beatles did not write Twist and Shout. It was a cover, right? Roll Over Beethoven was a cover, right? So anyway, but going back to the Dream Band, you know, I realize it's almost a ridiculous exercise, and I'll just explain why. Think about my solo album, right? Play With My Heart. Think about the diversity of the music, right?
Right.
Ringo Starr would be absolutely the worst drummer for the first song, which is Wine and Song, right?
Right.
The worst drummer you could ever hire, right? Where and also on Dance with Me, he wouldn't be able to play Dance with Me. I very much doubt he could play that. So this is why it's almost a pointless exercise. But if you ask
so
me
is the question, if you had $1 billion, what would you do with it? But sometimes it's fun to,
Yeah, you're right. Oh gosh, if I had $1 billion, what would I do with it? I'd feed the homeless, man. Like, for real. Like, I would literally go into the streets and I would feed people. And once I sort of stopped with my basic, like empath, filling my own hole inside of me by helping other people, right? Because it feels good, right? It's a little bit narcissistic almost, but you're doing a good deed, so we get a pass, no?
I mean, I think it's part of our evolutionary basis to help others feel good, because it keeps all of us alive.
Yeah. A band is a family. Discuss. Yes, we will.
Right.
I'll talk about that after. In fact, it's a very good point, JT. Very good point. So, okay. So after I sort of, did that, I've always thought about this question. What would I do? If all of a sudden I had $1 billion? And the answer is very clear to me. I would set up a record label with a studio, and I would create not a dream, $80 million studio. No, that would be a waste of money. I would create a very, let's say, lean but muscular recording studio, maybe 32 or maximum 48 channel analog console, reel-to-reel tape machine for those that want to use it, but capable, very capable Pro Tools rig with, maxed out Mac Studio, 512 gigabyte RAM, that kind of thing. So really powerful computer loaded with all the plugins. But I'd have a really nice, again, lean and muscular, 2 LA2As, 4 1176s. I love the distressor, so I'd probably have 4 or 8 distressors. Probably 2 H9000s. I get a 480L because I always wanted one, the Lexicon reverb. Right. Have a whole rack of PCM 80s. Some really nice UAD gear. So I'd have a very nice set of outboard hardware stuff, but nothing too crazy. Like, I wouldn't put in a, 96 channel custom Neve console or custom Focus. I wouldn't do that. What I would do with all the money, this is the second part, and this is partly related to JT's question he wants us to discuss. What I would do is I'd take the bulk of the money. So I would spend, let's say, $250,000 on a studio. Really, that'd be nice. It's a $250K. It's not like egregious, right? It's it can make a really nice studio. But I take that $1 billion and I would hire my friends. Everybody would go on a payroll. Everybody would get a salary. And the mission would be clear. Find young, authentic bands or singer-songwriters or duos or power trios, whatever it is. Find them. Make sure they meet the following criteria. Number 1, they're authentic. Number 2, they're not in it to become pop stars. I once had a singer came to see me in Los Angeles when I had my studio out there. Female singer, 22 years old, really pretty, really nice, everything, And she got my number from a mutual contact, and she said, I heard you're a producer, and I've heard some of your tracks. I really, really want to work with you. And I said, oh, okay. I said, like, what what's your main goal in terms of working with a producer? And she's like, well, I want to be like a star. I want to, become famous. And I was just like, oh, okay. That's totally fine. And that's great. But I would not be the right producer for you,
right?
Because I can't, as a joke, I made that pop hit, that Britney Spears hit, but that was like as a joke and a challenge. No. And It was a great song. So it's not that I can't do it. So I don't want to work with somebody that wants to be famous. That's the wrong reasons, right? So I'd hire all my friends to find the most legit artists, and I would create a creative collective that would be extremely elite and difficult to get in. But we would develop and create the greatest fucking artists the world has ever seen. That's what I would do. I would bring quality back to music. And I don't know why we are where we are. I don't know why we have what we have now. I mean, look, Pharrell Williams, for example, right? One of the greatest producers ever, But isn't he kind of derivative? Doesn't he just?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
isn't he just like sort of
Pharrell's music
writing based on Marvin Gaye and based on, even Bruno Mars, right? Like, what is he, Silk Sonic? Like, that's just taking all the great 70s R&B soul music and they're just fucking putting it in the sausage grinder.
Right.
And then they're just making sausage on the other end, man. Like, and I'm not,
music today, I hear it and I'm like, if you told me this song came out 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago,
or 50.
Yeah.
I'm not denying I think that Bruno Mars is a generational talent. Like, I'm not.
Sure.
Right? Like, I'm not removing any of that.
Right.
But is he really like rewriting the book the way the Beatles rewrote the book? I would argue Trent Reznor rewrote the book.
Yeah.
Elvis Costello rewrote the book, right? Like, these people changed music forever.
So
Bob Marley.
I think about this often. Is it that during the time of the Beatles, the electric guitar was how old? Right? The amp was how old?
Well, 1931. So from 31 to let's say 61. Yeah, 30 years exactly.
Okay. Sure. So there was a lot of room to make new sounds, to make things that sounded different. Are we just at a point where everything has already been done and to make something sound different is so hard?
Such a great
Even
insight.
people that devote their life to Hans Zimmer, right? He spent so much effort trying to make that Dune soundtrack just be different, right? There was another composer, the guy that did the White Lotus theme. I don't know if you've ever seen the show. One song can sound different. Can you be an artist today and actually sound different for an album? That's hard. I don't, you're gonna, there's so much has come before us,
right?
That, everything we play, somebody's gonna be like, yeah, that sounds like this. That sounds like this one thing I heard.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think, so I was discussing this with Pascal Dennis, the artist I produce, right?
Right.
We've done 6 albums together. We have a podcast, and Pascal Dennis Music, if any of you want to check out his stuff, he's authentic and honest in his music. And we were talking about this, about the same idea, and what I said was the following, and I'll say it again. I'll say the same thing, basically. So, chord progressions, as we know them today, began during the Renaissance, so 500 years ago. There were 2 main chord progressions, the passamezzo antico and the passamezzo moderno. Both are 1-4-5, okay? The passamezzo moderno is 1-4-5 in the major, and the antico is 1-4-5 in the minor. So for those wondering, that's the passamezzo moderno. And here's the antico. Antico, you've got reggae. So we still use the exact chord progression. And the Moderno, oh, baby, say, we gotta go now. Okay, whatever. I really screwed that up. And they actually, a lot of people misplay it because it's actually, they actually do a 5 minor once in a while. So genius. Anyway, so here's the point. We don't play, the dance suite as we know it was developed in the Renaissance. You know, the gigue and the ballade and these forms, the allemande and all the dance suite was developed. And then that, you know, went all the way through Bach. You know, there are dance suites from Bach. But if you want to go clubbing on Friday night, you're not going to dance to the Passamezzo Moderno. You might do it not without knowing it, but actually Renaissance lutes and harpsichords, that's not going to cut it in a club. So what I believe is that history has a way of, you know, removing and stripping away what does not work and leaving in what does work. Right? And so I think that's still true. So I believe that, I think that the problem with music over the last 30 years is that the focus has been on being original and not on being great. You have to understand, the reason classical music sounds similar, the reason why when you study music history, you have to, by ear, be able to differentiate between Italian Baroque, French Baroque, English Baroque, and German Baroque. The 4 national styles. You have to be able to understand the difference between the true proper classical era versus the Baroque era versus the Romantic era. So, and if you can't do that, then you don't understand music history. So, but my point is, the reason why classical music sounds so similar to most people and why most people have a difficult time understanding the difference between Mozart and early Beethoven, let's say, or Handel from Bach, is because nobody gave a shit about being original. In fact, in the Baroque era, if you were too much original,
you were out.
You were like, oh, it was like a faux pas. Like, oh, that's horrendous. You know, look, in the world premiere of Beethoven's Fifth, I forgot where I learned this, but one of my classes in Berkeley, my professor said, during the world premiere of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, during the fourth movement, there is a modulation, because all modulations in symphony form, you modulate to the dominant key of your tonic. So you're in the key of C, you modulate to G, standard. Well, Beethoven's, I believe he was in A flat, I believe, and then modulated to C major. That is so absurd for the time that apparently, this is what my teacher told me, that people stood up and booed. They were like, boo! Yeah.
How dare you much?
You boo Beethoven during the premiere of the Fifth, now considered like, if you had to basically make one icon to represent all of gaming, it would be what? The pizza wedge, the Pac-Man, a yellow, right? Like that can literally represent all of gaming. It's a universal symbol of gaming, more than Mario, okay? If there was one thing to represent all music, I know it's cheesy and cliche, but this is the greatest music. And most people don't know what made the Fifth so great, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, so I guess all this to say that history strips away, pulls away the things that don't work, and then we rebuild. Actually, I believe it was Beethoven's Seventh Symphony, where I took some of his chords and I was doing a harmonic analysis, and then I wound up writing a song around it. It's on my album, my solo album. It's I Have Lost Control. If you like that song, There's a little bit of Beethoven in there because I was doing an analysis of the Seventh, which is often considered one of the greatest pieces of instrumental music ever written. And maybe his finest symphony, better than the Ninth, I would argue, and better than the Fifth, I would argue. Seventh is amazing. Anyway, so I guess all that to say that we take what works, we strip away what doesn't work, and we move on. But I think now the focus is wrong. The focus is like, oh, dude, I was at this concert and like the lead singer like drove a tractor over 100 chickens and they recorded it and all the chickens were screaming. It was so cool. Like, but how was the music?
Right.
Right. So like the focus, poor chickens. The focus is now on being original. It's not on, being great. I wrote Pac-Man World 2 music, right? I didn't like sit down and consciously think I'm going to write a piece of music that's going to last for the next 25 years of my life and be remembered 25.
Right.
I sat down and I used quality and compositional technique. I made it simple, like lean and muscular, like really durable melodies that are going to be, repeatable and singable and hummable because that's what the client wanted. But I didn't, sort of like, oh, how can I make this original? No, I just did what I thought was correct for the project. And my album, Play With My Heart, those are just my pure, honest, authentic songs. That's it.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to have to start winding it down now because I think it's that time. I'm just destroyed, man. I'm so sorry. But let's see. I pled guilty to worrying too much about being original. We all do. Python, we all do. I do. We all do. It's not a problem, which cost me my motivation lately, especially. Well, I hope you get it back. Eventually reaching the point of CGI to look realistic. Even Pixar themselves made nothing special anymore. Blend in, blah, blah, blah. Then what happened? Into the Spider-Verse reinvents the wheel. Well, and it happens, right? It does happen, right?
Python, you didn't miss the synth discussion. We didn't get to it.
Oh
today.
yeah, we didn't. Sorry, guys.
I'm going to change the title and the.
We also didn't really get into the band as a family idea. But if you remind me next week, JT, we can
next time.
Yeah, we can get into that next time. And somebody said something about Trent Reznor did reinvent the wheel, but not in a good way, or something like that. I guess like I can respect but I can't agree with your position on that because I really think the guy's a legit artist, and I don't think he did it for the money or fame or anything, I really don't. I have such respect for him, like you don't know. But anyway, look, you know who else completely reinvented music as we know it? Fucking Michael Jackson proper. Let's give him the respect he deserves. Legit reinvented it all, man. He didn't play a single instrument, but he was there in the studio. So I want the horns. I want to like and there's a guy furiously. They're recording him with a dictaphone, and then the guy's transcribing it all. They hand it over to Quincy. He's like, oh yeah, Michael, that's fucking right on. Let's get that done right away. Calls up the Tower of Power, one of the great horn sections in LA at the time, or I think they were in New York actually. But anyway, whatever. Legit genius. I don't care what anyone else has to say. As Dave Chappelle said, he wrote Thriller. One of the funniest but most painful comedy sketches to watch. Dave Chappelle, oh my God. You know what? Our discussion about separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Really fucking hard.
Just about to bring that up.
But you don't know how hard it is for me to do sometimes. Like, admittedly, I laughed at some of these jokes, but then there's this other side of me that's just like, oh, dude, fuck, man. That's kind of not funny, actually. Because poor Michael, I don't know. I think he is a poor, tortured soul,
Right.
Not getting into any of his allegations or what he did or anything like that. But, I don't know. It's, he legit reinvented music. Okay. Whereas a band like the Bee Gees did not. They were just a great fucking band. They wrote great songs, man. And they did Saturday Night Fever, and it's a legit mega hit.
Tragedy.
One of the greatest original soundtrack recordings of all time.
Right.
But they didn't reinvent music as we know it. You know, they did some cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. You know, oh, fuck me. James Brown, legit reinvented music, man. Legit reinvented music. Marvin Gaye did not legit reinvent music. One of the greatest songwriters of his generation, one of the greatest singers of his generation, but he did not legit reinvent music as we know it. James Brown did. The Beatles did. The Stones did not. Not even come close. They didn't. Bob Marley, legit, like, inspired generations. And anyway, JT, have a wonderful time in London, and good luck at your gig. Break a leg, as we say.
For sure.
Spin is saying, yeah, sooner or later we're all going to use Fairlight CMI. Ha ha! The great Australian company Fairlight. Computer music instrument, by the way. That's what CMI stands for those wondering. And make it relevant again. Oh man, well, Orc Hit 2, Say No More, right? For those that don't know, Orc Hit 2 is one of the most famous orchestra hits,
Right.
Taken from Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. And I believe it's what Yes used on Owner of a Lonely Heart. So for sure there was a CMI involved in that. All right, I'm tired. I got to go, guys. Sorry, Bobby. I know you're tired too. So, and just the chat is like totally, moving. The chat was moving. Right. I kind of might have to throw. No. I was going to say Nile Rodgers, but then I realized Prince. Prince
for sure.
And if you want to keep at it, yeah, Bowie reinvented music legit. I think so. I'm trying to think of like all the people now, but who was the last? I hope we can all agree on who the last was. Nirvana.
I was going to about to bring up Nirvana,
most sensible people would agree on Nirvana was the last, because Pharrell Williams certainly hasn't. Right. Dr. Dre, I guess, is the greatest producer of my generation, I could say. Did he well, I mean, I guess he and Eminem reconstituted what hip hop is, but reinvented music the way MJ or Nirvana. No, I can't give him that. I can't. And MJ, Marshall Mathers, by the way, beyond a genius. Right. Like legit greatest generational poet ever. Like, and just watch all the interviews. Snoop Dogg, who's the best rapper in the world? 50 Cent, who's the greatest rapper of all time? Dr. Dre, who's the greatest of all, who's the GOAT? It's always the same answer. And it's only the haters, right? Like, oh my God. What was his name? Ja Rule, right? Who like is like, I'm the greatest, that's how you know you lost, when you have to say that you're the greatest. Like Blur and Oasis, right? That Britpop. Blur buried Oasis,
right,
and went on to become Gorillaz. So, but yet Liam Gallagher, it's not Blur and Oasis, it's Oasis and Blur. We won. Well, that's literally, you just said you lost.
Right.
Because what's his name? The guy, the main writer in Gorillaz and in Blur, I forgot his name. He don't give a fuck. He's like, I left Blur 30 years ago. I don't give a shit who won. I'm doing Gorillaz now. No? All right. Anyway, guys, be well. Look, Oasis wrote Wonderwall. I mean, that is literally one of the greatest songs of my generation. Reinvented music? Definitely not. Could I argue between Blur and Gorillaz? I still wouldn't say, but Clint Eastwood is one badass song. That's a great song. And Feel Good Inc. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God.
Right.
What a great song. And a great philosophical message. It's this idea of corporate takeover, making your happy pills so that you're not depressed, giving you that nice outfit so that you don't feel, that you're ugly or whatever it is, right? Like it's a whole song about corporate entities sort of making us feel well, Right. Anyway, let's wrap. All right. Well, it's that time.
Thank you all.
Sorry?
I just said thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Bobby. Thank you to everybody who's here. Gorillaz literally wrote a song called Pac-Man. Well, then we got to love them for that, if for nothing else. Maybe we should contact them and ask them to do a cover of Pac-Man World 2. Wouldn't that be awesome? That'd be so cool. All right, guys. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all the comments. But like I always say, and by the way, there's the Discord link. It's there right now. If you want to join the Discord, go ahead. Hey, Jasmine, I'm so happy you're learning. And I got to stop reading the chat now because I got to go. But as I always say, I think the purpose of life is to find some purpose in life. And I think the meaning of life is to find some meaning in life. And I certainly hope that we all find our purpose. And through that, we discover some meaning. So that being said, thank you all.